Director James Gunn has been really quiet on social media the last couple of days, especially since the Peacemaker controversy has hit mainstream, which I covered in a short, but in this video we're going to talk more about the controversy and why now there is a call to get James Gunn fired and why some people believe he could be removed from DC Studios as a whole. So I think pretty much everybody remembers the James Gunn controversy from years ago at this point. We're talking pre-2020. And what happened was, after the development of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, James Gunn was working on, naturally, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But people decided to dig into his history and found some old questionable tweets, which, honestly, when you look at them at face value, they're pretty disgusting and nasty, but everybody realized that he was literally just putting out really stupid and offensive jokes, which I'm pretty sure most people have at some point, but these just happened to be public. What made matters worse was that Disney knew about these instances. They were familiar with it, because we know, because they talked about it, but they still hired him, and what happened was mounting pressure from outside factors. So one night, pretty much everybody on YouTube that does not align themselves with James Gunn's worldviews and politics decided to run a campaign where they demanded that he be fired. Within 12 hours, Disney fired James Gunn, and he was jobless. Some time would go by, and of course, he was hired by DC at the time and WB, who was owned by AT&T. And well, the rest is history, and we are now where we are, with James Gunn having directed the Guardians of the Galaxy special and Guardians 3, but he is now running his own studio, and he is the head of a studio that is a subsidiary of WB. Which brings us to the Peacemaker controversy, because this is turning into a pretty big deal. It's on all the media stations and being covered by all the websites, because James Gunn has used Nazi symbolism in Peacemaker, and it went pretty bad when it came to Fortnite, as that's a game that kids play, and it shows up in it. So if you're not familiar with what's going on in Peacemaker Season 2, let me catch you up with it. So we find out that Peacemaker is in an alternative reality that he calls the perfect world. Throughout the episode so far, there's multiple hints that something about this Earth is off, and if you pay attention, chances are that you notice that every single car is American-made, German-altered, and or just straight-up German. And there seems to be a lack of any skin color outside of white. At the end of the latest episode, we find out that he is in fact in Nazi world. Now, the controversy isn't that, but the controversy starts at the fact that they took the American flag and replaced the stars with the swastika, which again, still symbolism. It happens. It's in media. But where things get very much out of control is the fact that a lot of kids play Fortnite. Fortnite has a Peacemaker skin. And one of the Peacemaker emotes is Peacemaker dancing, just like in the intro. Well, as people have pointed out, it's a little problematic because you can see it. He's doing the motion of the swastika. Now, Fortnite and Epic Games have decided to remove this emote, so a lot of people that paid for Peacemaker and this emote are upset by this, naturally, because they spent money on it and something that they paid for is gone. While at the same time, there are people that were also pissed at James Gunn making the Nazis out to be bad guys, which, I mean, if you're upset by that, I got bad news for you. But still, people are voicing their opinion online, and now people have started to push for WB and DC, specifically David Zaslav, to step in, and they are demanding that James Gunn is removed from his position, that James Gunn be fired, that he issue an apology, and that they really just reprimand him in a specific way because, again, something that They believe he intentionally knew what he was doing with that dance, making that symbol, didn't tell anybody, made it into a kid's game, which I agree with. James Gunn knows what he's doing with these. He knows what he was doing with the symbolism and the messaging of Superman, and he knows what he was doing with Peacemaker. There's no way that it's a coincidence that he does that motion and makes that symbol with the dance in a show in season 2 that's focusing on this idea. So that's a problem. So let's talk about the logistics and could James Gunn realistically be fired? So the big question is, will James Gunn be fired? Now, obviously, there's a contingent of fans and people online that want him fired. But just because you're vocal and want him fired and you're saying that this is offensive and all that, they're going to do their due diligence to look at it. Again, there's going to be a lot of people, and it's not coincidental that the people doing this are the very same people that got James Gunn fired the first time around. Again, it's all political views and what they're doing. It's the anti-cancel culture crowd has become very focused on cancel culture and canceling the people that they don't like. James Gunn just happens to be at the center of it again. And once again, if your idea and reason for wanting him to get fired is, I don't like this because it upsets me, again, I think that's a you problem more than anything. But could they realistically fire him? Of course they could. Easily. It's happened before. People are saying, well, he's the head of a studio. Yes, but he still answers to the people above him. That's what we're talking about here. So will he be fired? I personally don't think he will be. Again, yes, the emo is a problem. Yes, it's a whole thing. Should it have been disclosed what this was? Probably. Are they going to remove it or keep it permanently removed? Probably. Are they going to issue refunds? I could see it. But at the same time, I think we got to look at the bigger picture here and what's going on and the whole messaging behind this and the optics and clearly what people are saying and the fact that I don't think they're going to have a knee-jerk reaction that's the same as Disney to feel the peer pressure and then realize, oh, yeah, maybe we screwed up, And this is coming at us at the same time where the United States, if you just looked at the news, is in all sorts of turmoil and cancel culture and warfare among its citizens for this and that and trying to pivot and blame one side or the other for everything. If there's anything to come from this, we're not going to hear about it immediately. And at worst, James Gunn gets fired. But I think that's a last resort type of situation. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.